Hey everyone, it's Julie, and today I'll be making a delicious, moist chocolate cake with a silky smooth chocolate buttercream frosting. This is the recipe I want you guys to really trust me on. I need you guys to make this, I promise. It was that good. So let's get started. Alright, so first thing I did was sift my all-purpose flour along with the baking powder, baking soda, and salt. Then I sifted the cocoa powder into my all-purpose flour, and then I just removed it into a bigger bowl. Threw in my eggs. I never crack eggs into the mix because what if a little eggshell gets in there and I happen to miss it? So always try to crack your eggs into a different bowl. Alright, I threw in my granulated sugar, vegetable oil, some milk, and some vanilla extract. And then you're going to start whisking. And now of course you can use a stand mixer, but since this recipe doesn't include butter, it didn't bother me to whisk it by hand like this. And I'm very plain when it comes to desserts. I'm not crazy about fancy tarts and pies. I'm a cake, cupcake, and brownies kind of girl, all the way. So when I do put out a fancy dessert, just know that it's going to taste awesome. Alright, so I added a cup of boiling water. You can use a cup of coffee instead, but I decided to just use boiling water. And don't let the runny batter scare you. I've come to the conclusion that when baking cakes, the thicker the batter, the drier the cake. But that's just my experience. Alright, here I have two 9-inch cake pans, and I buttered them all over, and then I added some all-purpose flour, and I'm just going to do that. And this is going to prevent the cake from sticking. Going to pour half of the batter into the first cake pan, and then just put the remaining batter into the other one like that. And then a little here and a little there. Alright, so I baked the cakes in a preheated oven at 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. You can place a toothpick or a knife in the center. If it comes out clean, then you know it's ready. Alright, so let's get started on our chocolate buttercream. So I started off by sifting my powdered sugar so we don't have any lumps in the buttercream. We're going to sift our cocoa powder as well. That's very important because the cocoa powder is very lumpy as well. And when baking, don't be afraid to get dirty. That's rule number 1. So in my stand mixer, I'm going to cream 3 sticks of unsalted butter. And you're probably thinking, oh, so much butter and sugar. But this is a big cake. It feeds about 12 to 15 people. And if you go to the best bakery in your town and work there for one day, you'll see how much butter they use. And you'll wonder if it's legal, but then you'll take a bite out of it and you'll forget them. Alright, so I threw in all of the powdered sugar and cocoa powder into my stand mixer, and I added some milk, and this is going to be like magic. It's gonna magically appear into a delicious, creamy, silky, smooth chocolate buttercream. Yum. I added some vanilla extract, and that's what it's gonna look like. Now just make sure to get all of that powdered sugar on the sides, scrape down your bowl. Oh, and 2 things. Very important, please make sure that your cakes are completely cooled or else your frosting will melt and you don't want that. And also do not refrigerate this cake. As long as you leave it at room temperature covered, you should have no problem with this cake. If you put it in the refrigerator, you can, but I feel like it'll dry out a bit and I don't like that. Alright, now I added a really thick layer of buttercream in the center because if you don't, you'll have crumbs in your cake. And you do not want crumbs in a 2 or 3 layer cake. It looks ugly. I don't like it. So if you don't want any crumbs, make sure to add a thick layer of frosting. And then here we're just going to add all of the remaining frosting that we made. And we're just going to do our best and cross our fingers that we do a good job, unless you're skilled at this. And if you've watched my videos in the past, you've heard me say that I'm not great at frosting cakes, but that'll never stop me from baking. No way. Alright, so I'm almost done here frosting. Make sure to get all of the sides with an offset spatula. You want to use the back side of your offset spatula to get the sides. And here I try to be a little creative. I think that looks cute. And then I added some chocolate sprinkles, that's optional, on the sides. And we are done. Now we're gonna slice this up, pour ourselves a cup of coffee or a glass of milk, and we're going to eat this. It was super moist and delicious. I really hope you guys give this recipe a try. This is one recipe that I highly recommend for you guys because it was so good. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and thank you guys so much for watching.